The story of video games, from Pong to VR, a long, soothing narrative about gaming's evolution. Let the room sink into a calm hush, like the warm glow of a console booting up in the dark. Tonight, you're drifting through the history of video games in a way that feels gentle, familiar, and unhurried. This is a story of creativity and curiosity, unfolding decade by decade, from the simplest electronic beats of the early 1970s to the layered virtual worlds of today. Settle in as the timeline stretches out like a soft, pixelated horizon. The story in 1972, when Atari introduced Pong, most people had never seen an electronic game outside of research labs or university basements. Pong stood quietly in bars and arcades, built by a company still finding its shape under the guidance of Nolan Bushnell. Its screen showed only a dot and two bars, yet that faint square-shaped blink carried a spark that would ripple through generations. Atari soon became a lighthouse in this young industry, releasing the Atari 2600 in 1977, a console that brought arcade-style fun into living rooms. Wooden paneling, chunky cartridges, and the thunk of a joystick settling back to center. It all felt new. Around this same time, arcades bloomed. In 1978, Taito released Space Invaders, a marching parade of pixelated visitors. The following years brought cabinets from Namco, Sega, Konami, and Midway, each humming with eager sounds. Pac-Man arrived in 1980, crafted by Namco under Toru Iwatani's direction, drifting through its maze with a glowing certainty that it would be remembered. The early 1980s saw a strange cycle of booming success, followed by the infamous crash of 1983 in the United States. Atari's overproduction and a flood of rushed titles pushed the market into turmoil. Yet in Kyoto, a company already known for Hanafuda cards was preparing something careful and steady. Nintendo, led by Hiroshi Yamauchi, worked patiently on the family computer, released in Japan in 1983. 2 years later, it reached the United States as the NES, breathing life back into the console world. Mario leaped into hearts in 1985 with Super Mario Bros., while The Legend of Zelda opened an entirely different shape of adventure in 1986. Nintendo doubled down with the Game Boy in 1989, a compact green-screened companion that rode trains, waited in school backpacks, and traveled quietly through airports. By the early 1990s, rivalry warmed the entire gaming landscape. Sega, riding on the success of the Genesis, released in 1988 in Japan and 1989 in North America, featured Sonic the Hedgehog starting in 1991. His energy contrasted Nintendo's family-style charm, and the two companies shaped one of gaming's most memorable eras. In 1994, something began to shift. Sony entered the arena with the PlayStation, born from a canceled collaboration with Nintendo. This disc-based machine allowed larger worlds, longer stories, and a new confidence in 3D graphics. Developers like Square released titles such as Final Fantasy Roman VII in 1997, using cinematic ambition rarely seen in games before. On the other side of the globe, PC gaming grew steadily through the 1990s. Companies like ID Software, Sierra, Blizzard, Maxis, Origin Systems, and Valve pushed computers into the territory of immersive play. Doom arrived in 1993, spreading through offices and dorm rooms with its shareware model. Warcraft debuted in 1994, shaping real-time strategy. Myst, released by Cyan in 1993, became a bestseller with its quiet puzzles and serene islands. By 1998, Valve introduced Half-Life, ushering in a new standard of story-driven action. Online gaming expanded dramatically as the decade closed. In 1999, Sega's Dreamcast became the first major console with built-in modem support. Meanwhile, EverQuest from Sony Online Entertainment drew players into sprawling shared worlds, paving the way for Blizzard's World of Warcraft in 2004. When Microsoft entered the stage with the Xbox in 2001, gaming welcomed a new pillar. Xbox Live launched in 2002, stitching players together through broadband connections. PlayStation 2, released in 2000, became one of the best-selling consoles of all time, finding its way into over 150 million homes. Nintendo charted its own playful course with the GameCube in 2001. In 2006, the shape of play changed yet again. Nintendo introduced the Wii, focusing on motion controls and simple, joyful interactions. Sony released the PlayStation 3, embracing Blu-ray discs. Microsoft launched the Xbox 360 in 2005, which became a central hub for online communities through party chat and a growing digital marketplace. The late 2000s brought another silent revolution. Smartphones appeared as quiet companions in almost every pocket. In 2007, Apple's iPhone began a new era, and in 2008, the App Store welcomed developers from everywhere. The studio Rovio released Angry Birds in 2009. Niantic would later create Pokémon Go in 2016, blending augmented reality into everyday sidewalks. Through the 2010s, consoles matured. Sony's PlayStation 4 launched in 2013 and became known for cinematic storytelling. Microsoft's Xbox One, also debuting in 2013, expanded digital services. Nintendo broke expectations with the Switch in 2017, a hybrid device that traveled easily while still feeling at home on a TV. Alongside them, PC hardware surged forward with companies like Nvidia, AMD, Intel, Asus, MSI, and Gigabyte powering deeper experiences. Esports grew through Riot Games' League of Legends 2009, Valve's Dota 2 2013, and Blizzard's Overwatch 2016. Twitch, launched in 2011, turned gameplay into a shared spectacle. And then the oldest dream returned with new clarity. Virtual reality stepped into the spotlight. Oculus released the Rift in 2016 under parent company Meta. HTC introduced the Vive the same year. Sony launched PSVR for the PlayStation 4. VR offered wide, gentle landscapes, the kind you could simply explore without pressure. By the early 2020s, VR headsets from Meta, Valve, HTC, and Sony invited players into quiet mountain ranges, calm underwater scenes, and meditative space stations. Augmented reality walked alongside it. Microsoft's HoloLens in 2016 showed how digital layers could paint themselves softly onto the real world. Today, gaming stretches like an endless field. Retro collections preserve Atari, Nintendo, Sega, and early PC classics. Modern consoles, PlayStation 5 2020, Xbox Series XS 2020, and Nintendo's ongoing Switch line, continue to refine the craft. VR headsets evolve year by year. Mobile gaming touches billions. Indie studios, from Supergiant to Concerned Ape to That Game Company, keep creating gentle, personal worlds that feel like digital exhalations. From Pong in 1972 to VR in the present, the evolution of games has been a long, peaceful current that never stops moving. Every era adds another soft glow to this history, another layer of creativity. Gaming, at its heart, remains a place to unwind, to explore, and to close the day with calm imagination. Let these last moments settle like a console powering down, its fan whispering to a stop. You've wandered across decades, from coin-operated sparks to full virtual worlds. May this story rest beside you like a familiar controller waiting for the next quiet session. Allow the glow to fade and drift into sleep wrapped in nostalgia.